Okay, let's do this. The year is 2011. It was a great day, and I had been in a relationship for 7 years. I thought it was going to last forever, and that was the day my girlfriend decided to leave me. We had lived together for about 7 years, and it was a traumatic event the day that happened. I can remember how it was cloudy outside, and I was going up the steps back to my condo after I helped her move everything out. And I was really heavy, and I was walking up the steps really slowly because my body felt like 1,000 pounds heavier than it should have. I got inside the condo. It was completely empty because she took all the furniture with her. And I got down on the ground, and I cradled myself into the fetal position, just like a little baby. You know, when they're in the womb, they go like this. And I started to weep and wail as loud as I could because it was like a trauma, and I was abandoned. And at that moment in time, though, I knew there was something interesting going on because I was in a fetal position. And I'm like, what is it about me going into this fetal position right now during this period of trauma that gives me comfort? So I was on this journey to figure out a solution to the emotions, the link between emotions and the body. I was like, what do I do? Intuitively, we know, and I know, that your blood boils when you're angry. You get hot-headed when you're angry. Your stomach grows tighter. Maybe your heartbeat even goes up when you're angry. So intuitively, I knew there's a connection between that which I experience emotionally and that which I experience in the body. So I wanted something that was intuitively true. I wanted something that was scientifically proven. I don't want any of this like hocus pocus magic stuff. And then I wanted something that was easy to use that I could use instantly. So I went through hypnosis. I went through rational emotive behavioral therapy. I went through cognitive psychology. And then I found something called EFT, which I'm sure you guys have heard of. It's called the Emotional Freedom Technique. And the coolest thing about that was I found out it was peer-reviewed. By that I mean the American Psychological Association has journals with scientific studies that have proven the effectiveness of EFT. As well, there's, let me see. The president of the National Veterans Foundation referred to EFT, quote, its success rates are almost unheard of in the field of mental health in any type of treatment over the whole century. As well, Jack Canfield, the famous author of Chicken Soup for the Soul, quote, EFT is the most powerful new transformational technology to come along in years. Furthermore, I found 2 additional leading researchers. Feinstein and Church conducted an EFT study, and what they concluded was they did a pre-cortisol and a post-cortisol level study on people who had experienced EFT. The other group was people who experienced talk therapy, and then the other group they did nothing to. After 1 hour of EFT, the people that experienced EFT reduced the cortisol levels by 24%, as opposed to just 14% that everyone else experienced. So I had enough scientific evidence to know that this was true. Intuitively, I knew my body, when I'm angry, my veins pop out of my neck and I get all tense. Scientifically, I had the evidence, and then I wanted something that was easy to use. So I started studying EFT on YouTube, and it was really simple. And so if you guys want to play along with me, go ahead and put your pens down for a second, and we can do this out. There's 9 tapping points in EFT that tap into the meridians that you use with regards to acupuncture. So the first tapping point is you do a setup statement right over here. So even though, you can repeat after me, even though I'm afraid of public speaking, I totally and unconditionally accept myself. Even though my heartbeat goes way up when I'm standing in front of people, I totally and completely unconditionally accept myself. On the side of the eye, all this fear. On the temple. Well, you don't have to do that. All this nervousness. All this fear of public speaking. I unconditionally accept myself. All this nervousness. All this high blood pressure. All this stress. All of this dissipating. Because I unconditionally accept myself. So there you have it. we're supposed to cycle through that 2 times, but after doing that, before you do that, you rate the level of emotional intensity that you have from a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest. And then afterwards, you do it again, and you compare the number, and if it went down, you'd be successful in the use of EFT. So after this enormous, how much time are we on? Okay, good, thanks. Ultimately, I had something that was intuitively true, because there's definitely a link between the body and the mind. I had the scientific evidence, Jack Canfield, the studies that have been published in peer-reviewed journals from the American Psychological Association, and then I had something that was easy to use. So the real question is, now that you guys know how to use EFT, what are you going to do with it, and who are you going to share it with? How are you going to relinquish fear in exchange for the life you've always dreamed of? How are you going to relinquish rejection for unconditional self-acceptance? How are you going to relinquish all the feelings of rejection and abandonment for unconditional self-love? The choice is yours. Use EFT now.